Lindsay here with the Mindful Living Movement. I recently read a very interesting statistic that said that almost 40% of gardeners don't start their seeds on time in the spring. And I thought that was pretty interesting, also pretty startling, given that I know I've had that same experience in past years. I wasn't very organized with my seed starting. I'd get all overwhelmed and not really have a good system in place. So I have created a system that I absolutely love, and I actually even leveled it up a little bit this year. So I wanted to take you through how I keep all the information organized and how I make it super, super simple to sit down, okay, this is what I need to start this weekend, and then just get straight to it. So if you are feeling like you've fallen behind this year, past years, this is going to be the system for you. Even if it's a bit late in your season, start now and then you'll have it all ready to go for next year. So the beginning of starting your organization, your plan, and knowing what week to start on is, rather than sitting down with all the little seed packets, you can go to, I'll link this in the comments, or in the notes I should say, johnnyseeds.com has a seed starting calculator for week by week starting, which is sweet. So you literally just pick your dates for when you think that your last frost is going to be. There's usually a bit of a window you'll find. Super simple if you just Google where you live and then last frost date and first frost date, and you'll be able to find those dates. So I've gone and input that, and I'm just going to click enter, and so it reorganized everything here. And then what I did is I grabbed all of this information. So I went and I copied all of this, and I went and I made myself a Google Doc. You can use Excel, whatever sort of spreadsheet thing that you like. As you can see, it looks a little bit different, and I'm going to share with you sort of what I'd added to it. So these columns here, this is the information that I got from that seed starting. So I put it all in here, same with this one, all the dates or all of the names. And then I actually added a column, so this testing start date, because I do like to obviously push the limits of things. I've got a pretty good indoor growing setup, and so it allows me to keep my indoor plants happier for a little bit of a longer time. So if I want an earlier harvest on peppers, or I want an early harvest indoors for my kale plants before I transplant them outside, I've got this sort of tracking space here. And then it's really, really simple. You just filter. So I just filter A to Z, and then it puts all of the dates in order for me, which is awesome. So then I just go over here and I decide on what I actually want to start this year. And usually what I will do is, so if we scroll down to kind of where we're currently at, we can see I'm up to about April the 16th. And then I've got a bunch more here. So I've marked out what I want to start. These are what's in my plan for the year. So I know which plants I don't need to get distracted by the ones I'm not going to be doing this year. I just mark them out. And then when it gets to the end of the month and I'm ready to start everything, I just usually like to switch over to yellow. So yellow is kind of I'm like in the works of getting them going. So I just kind of mark out, these are the ones. Once I have them seed started, that's where everything gets switched to green. So then I will highlight, and as you can see, there's a whole bunch up top here that are already green. So these are all the ones I've already seed started for the year. And it's really, really nice because it's all just organized for me. Most of the information I got from that seed starting calculator, and then I just added and adjusted. Some, you'll find there are some holes and stuff like that where I just haven't filled the information in yet, or I haven't felt like I needed it, but that's okay. I really like spreadsheets as like one central place to come back to year after year. And then what I will do as well is I have a sort of secondary place where I keep all of my other information. So these are sort of the nuances. This is my seed starting and planting tip spreadsheet. If you are in any of my growing courses, my gardening courses, you will have access to this spreadsheet, and it's pretty sweet. There's like almost 100 plants on here at this point. When I get to the seed starting, I really pay attention to these two columns, and so I'll pull, okay, so it's cucumbers that I'm starting. I'll go and find my cucumber information. And then what I don't really like to bring my computer into my growing space. Dirt and moisture, sunshine, those are just not really good things. So I just have a little garden planning log. and I'll just write down what is that I'm starting, and I'll just put at the top here the temperature and the sort of days that I can expect it to be growing, so that I can just like literally be tracking like seed started, transplanted, all of the notes and stuff like that, left my husband in charge, he crispied everything, whatever the reasonings are that you might have to restart something or something failed, you've got those notes. And then it's just easy, like week by week, I just grab one of my like seed starting trays, these guys here. I like these little photo bins, and I'll just grab, you know, the 2, 3, 5 seeds or whatever it is that I need to start, and off I go. I've got everything ready. So it doesn't need to be complicated. This is a lot of information. These are things I've compiled, but start here. Start with this Johnny's, their seed starting date calculator. This is an amazing place for you to start. This is a lot of information to go and individually compile. It's something I had kind of been doing, but this actually added to a lot of what I needed. And then I just came over here and sort of adjusted and added some few things into it. This is something that they have noted, and I just kind of added a little bit of extra information to it as well. So something like mustard, for example, these are just notes on whether a plant likes to be transplanted, if it does not like to be transplanted, or if you should use peat pots. There's just sort of some little extra pieces of information that I've added on here so that I know. And then this spreadsheet as well that I have, that I will just like strawberries, for example. Strawberries are such a fussy seed to start, so I've just got like all of that really unique information around that seed, but in particular temperature and the time frame that I can expect. So if I know that a seed needs to take a really, really long time to germinate, it's very helpful information, you know, that I don't give up at like the 7-day mark and think like all hope is lost, when actually, you know, squash could take up to 14 days. So having that information, I just kind of will like quickly note it in my little book here so that I can just flip to whatever I've got going. And that is sort of my process. Start somewhere. You're not going to have all of this information maybe right off the hop in your first year, but that's okay. Start with just getting a very simple spreadsheet, and then as you start to develop your skills, start to develop the information that you really like to have, then you keep adding and adding and adding. And still, if you're like someone who likes to use like a paper notebook, still use the paper notebook. This is awesome to bring out in the garden with you, to keep, you know, where all of your dirt and all the mess and stuff like that is. But you don't always want to have to be flipping back like, oh my gosh, okay, strawberries, and you got to flip back through a whole bunch of books to find, okay, what's my germination temperature for strawberries? It's just all in a nice organized spreadsheet for you. So if you are keen to really sort of level up your garden planning, then I highly, highly recommend that you check out my garden planning course, my vegetable garden mini course. It is open for registration, and it just walks you through a lot of these little systems that make the process much simpler to bring the plan together and then get those seeds started if that is something that you're looking for. So I wish you a good one, gardeners, and we will see you again soon.